Urgent news directly from the front. Strikes on the artery of Putin's army at the front line. Pokrovsk is being liberated from enemy clutches. Drones put on an extraordinary show in the sky. Near Donetsk, the occupiers received a powerful thrashing. The F-35 fighter jet is in the spotlight again. Europe is turning its guns directly on Moscow. All this in our episode, Hell Point, a real Armageddon on the front line. Russian generals are in complete shock. Tanks have been blown into the air. Ammunition created a fireworks show after precise strikes by the Ukrainian armed forces. And all the enemy soldiers' supplies have been destroyed. Pokrovsk is being cleared of Putin's army. However, the enemy is advancing on other fronts as well. We'll tell you what's happening on the front line right now in just a moment.
On the outskirts of Vovchansk, the enemy attempted to resume their offensive efforts. Heavy equipment, various means of attack, and a large number of assault troops. The border guards at the outpost responded harshly. They destroyed a heavy flamethrower system, Solnsep-Yokong, a BMP-3, and several motorized vehicles. Another tractor was blown up thanks to remote mining. In the Kharkiv direction, the aerial reconnaissance of the 5th Slobozansky Brigade Scythians discovered the occupiers' shelter in a destroyed building. At the right moment, with several drops, our defenders forced them to find a new hiding place, which was also blown up immediately after the enemy relocated. The Phoenix drones ruthlessly destroyed the enemy's logistics in the Kharkiv region, halted the delivery of ammunition to positions, and eliminated infantry. Trucks and vans are in flames. Our warriors are repelling enemy attacks on the Kupiansk sector as well. During a series of combat sorties, FPV drone operators of the 43rd Mechanized Brigade delivered precise strikes on the concentration points of the invaders and their equipment. There are no more antennas, transmitters, communication means, and transport that provided the Russians with an advantage in reconnaissance and command. Fighters of the 3rd Assault Unit met the uninvited guests with fire from a distance of 100 meters, sending some of them straight to hell. The rest managed to flee for now.
Old man, wait for the grenade. Over here to the dumpster on our left. Let me cover you.
Fighters of the Nemesis Regiment burned a tank of the 4th Kantemirovskaya Division of the Russian Federation with a bomber. The armored vehicle was hit in the rear near Svatov, from where the enemy launches assaults towards Kupiansk. And in the Donetsk region, they disabled a self-propelled artillery unit, Akatsia, which can destroy defensive structures, annihilate tanks, and is capable of setting up a firing trench in half an hour. In the Lyman direction, the occupying army attacked near the settlements of Nadia, Novoserhivka, Druzhlyubivka, Olhivka, Novomikhailivka, Lipove, Zelena Dolina, and Nove. The enemy's assault actions were repelled. The enemy does not cease attempts to improve their tactical position in the Serebryansky forestry, but in vain. Defense forces units prevented the enemy's advance in the Siversk direction near Verkhnyo-Kamyansky, Hrihorivka, and Volodarivka. In the Kramatorsk direction, our defenders stopped the enemy in the areas of Chasiv Yar, Kurdyumivka, and Stuposhki. Specifically, near Klishchivka, the 5th Separate Assault Unit is eliminating the enemy. This is a video compilation of their reconnaissance battalion's work. Drones of the Reyrog Regiment set fire to a self-propelled howitzer, Hyacinth S. The installation turned out to be a tough nut and withstood 3 kamikaze drones, but the 4th managed to hit the necessary part of the gun. The enemy continues to bring in manpower to Donetsk, preparing for new offensives. This time they didn't even spare armored vehicles against the Predator Patrol Police Unit, instead of regular ATVs. However, the result was the same. The Predators destroyed the Russian armored fighting vehicle. In the Pokrovsky direction, Special Operations Forces successfully approached a position where there were twice as many soldiers. Our warriors began by blowing up the enemy bunker. 3 Special Operations operators quickly advanced through the trenches with fire and captured another shelter. 8 Muscovites were neutralized and 2 more were captured.
We entered, immediately took the corners, and shot everything, and started pressing them. We didn't give them any opportunity to do anything at all. The entire success of this operation was in the fact that we pressed them. It was done professionally.
The Skala Regiment showed how the occupiers have been storming their positions in Pishchane for several days in a row. Our group, with the support of strike drones, is stopping these attacks. There is constant direct contact with the enemy. The snipers of the Spartan Brigade skillfully eliminated Russian intruders on the Pokrovsky section. In these shots, their work is shown without mercy and without misses. After unsuccessful previous attempts, the Russians gathered a column again, which they sent towards Novosilka. And again, unsuccessfully. Even as they approached, the fighters of the 31st Mechanized Brigade met them with fire and repelled the assault. On the Novopavlivka direction, paratroopers of the 71st Ranger Brigade, together with adjacent units, did not allow a column of about 24 armored vehicles to break through our defense. Motorcyclists maneuvered ahead, but the enemy's battle formation was shattered by artillerymen and drone pilots. They also caught up with those who tried to hide in the plantation. Meanwhile, in Khartia, they have already ensured that the fighters on the front line have treats for Easter. The festive bread was delivered to the positions by vampire drones. With faith in our fighters, Tetiana Litvin, Inter by the Peace Marathon, United News.
Strikes in non-stop mode. This is how our fighters describe the powerful clearing of the enemy on one of the hottest sections of the front. Several enemy BMPs, a Nona self-propelled artillery, and a car were simply blown to pieces. The drones brought death to the audacious occupiers. A complete failure for the Russian soldiers. How did it happen? Watch further. From Kursk, straight to Donetsk, Russian general sent the elite to Donetsk region. The fortress city holds on. The occupiers are harassing the Ukrainian armed forces with drones and constant meat assaults. Epic failure. Our forces showed the enemy their teeth. Things didn't go as planned. The defense of Donetsk stands firm. How do they manage to keep the invaders away from the city? We'll tell you about it in the report right now.
Did it take off? Yes, probably.
The air is filled with the roar of frontline aviation, and occasional explosions somewhere near the location of one of the units of the 49th Separate Assault Battalion Carpathian Sich. The fighters are defending the Donetsk direction, and here they are resting from the battles, which are particularly difficult right now.
Against us, as far as I know, they have deployed one of the best Russian UAV units, Rubicon, as I've heard about it. Previously, they operated in the Kursk region. Now, this direction is very important for them.
Constant pressure, that's how the occupiers operate. Their actions are systematic. They try to probe, meaning their drone operators are flying. They scout our positions, our drone operators as well, probing, and at certain moments when they accumulate forces, assault actions begin. Their assault actions are now carried out on anything. This includes foot soldiers, mopeds, vans, Blue Nivas, APCs, BMPs, of that sort.
The soldiers say the Russians never cease to amaze with their assault tactics, or more precisely, the equipment they use for breakthroughs.
Assaults on our positions have been carried out on anything already. From APCs, BMPs to scooters. The first time we saw scooters, we couldn't believe our eyes. Electric scooter. A group, an assault group. 3 people on electric scooters, advancing on our positions.
During one of these assaults, the warriors with the call sign Beast on their 3rd combat mission came face to face with the Russians.
The Russians, their assault troops, they approached on motorcycles, abandoned them, regrouped, and ran towards us. Our drone operators engaged them and eliminated 2.
One was blown up by a mine. 2 occupiers remained alive. 1 had to be eliminated. And the other was captured by Beast. I opened fire on him.
He got confused, and seeing his confusion, he raised his hand slightly, and then I realized that I could take him prisoner. This also needs to be done to replenish the exchange pool.
Comrades of Beast add that he then suffered multiple leg injuries, which he only noticed after returning from combat.
When Beast was already taking the prisoner, he did so under heavy fire and while working in the field. and when they were leading him inside, enemy fire followed them. They were firing at their own as well, seeing that he was surrendering, and they fired at both their own and ours. And only at home did he see that all his legs were wounded and covered in bruises.
Then the hospital treatment and back to the front line. Now these men are preparing for the next fire shift. From the Eastern Front, Ruslan Semenchuk, Vadim Revon, and Ihor Shichepet. Details on Inter TV channel. Unified News Marathon.
Death from the skies. These special operations by Ukrainian intelligence keep the enemy in constant fear. New UAVs are wiping entire units of invaders off the face of the earth. The strikes are precise and relentless. The world's second army is in utter shock. This video of revenge from the sky is something you definitely need to see.
Thank you for watching. Inside the designated area.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
A loud scandal with F-35 planes. Ambiguous statements, billion-dollar losses, and total distrust. These fighters burst into the sky as victors, but ended up on the brink of an abyss. American superplanes have ceased to be favorites. No one was really prepared for this, but the main question is, will Ukraine get its share of the sky? All the exclusive details in a moment in our video. Here they are.
The rulers of the European sky, the Eurofighter Typhoon, and the Rafale. Fast, powerful, deadly. These are aircraft of the so-called fourth generation. But the king among these deadly machines is the American F-35, a machine of an entirely different level, even philosophy. I first saw the F-35 at the Farnborough Air Show in the UK in 2016. Impressions? Well, it's even hard to explain. After the high-speed flybys of the Eurofighters, this aircraft appeared literally out of nowhere, seemingly from underground. It hovered over the other planes, somehow starting to slide sideways towards us, towards the spectators. It was a bit uncomfortable. It seemed like this machine saw everything, controlled everything, every movement. Even then, experts were convinced that all the leading countries in the world would be queuing for this plane for decades, because whoever has such fighters, such weaponry, will dictate their will to everyone else. The multifunctional stealth aircraft is capable of striking before any air defense systems can detect it. And now, just 9 years later, 2 countries are ready to cancel their orders for the best fighter jet. The military of Portugal has already dared to take this step. The Canadians have taken a pause. Obviously, other countries will also abandon the F-35. Could it be about the price? No. The American fifth-generation aircraft costs approximately $200 million. The same as the French Rafale of the previous, the fourth generation. It's a matter of trust. Trump. His statements that the US would sell allies simpler aircraft, meaning without full functionality, because supposedly allies can change, undermined this trust. There are even claims in the press that American aircraft developers are installing kill switches in their planes. That is, American planes can be remotely disabled. The shares of the developer Lockheed Martin plummeted sharply. Aviation expert Valery Romanenko assures that there is no remote switch in military aircraft, but a serious problem with American fighters is indeed possible.
No, they won't be able to take off, but they won't have full functionality. That is, if there is no supply of American spare parts, they will eventually remain grounded. Europeans, of course, if they adopt American aircraft, some components will be produced in Europe. But the main thing, the radio electronics, is practically all American. So the Americans take and disconnect Europe from the military internet. And that's it. And the fifth generation drops to the fourth, and not even to the fourth, because all the air-to-air missiles are American. Most of the anti-aircraft missiles in Europe's arsenal are also American.
Military expert Oleg Katkov agrees with Valery Romanenko and adds that without the support of developers, aircraft worth $200 million will turn into targets, those for the enemy.
The F-35 without missiles that have to be American, without engines that are American, becomes helpless. It can be placed somewhere in a hangar and it will stand there perfectly, collecting dust. And as it turns out, one of the components that ensures the low visibility of the F-35, which is its main feature, is a stealth aircraft using stealth technology. And this stealth technology is not just about its shape. It's not just about the special radar-absorbing coating. It's about, as it turns out, the software that plots the route in such a way as to remain low observable relative to these threats.
A paradoxical situation has arisen. The defense of all of Europe depends on the weapons of another country. A country whose president now does not promise to defend this Europe. Wait, but the French also have their own aircraft, right? And can they be replaced with them? That's also some kind of cost.
No, they produce the Rafale, and the Rafale is a 4++. And it can be replaced, but again, the missiles. Yes, the Rafale uses Mika missiles, but with a focus on the French-British Meteor missiles, which have a range of 200 kilometers. But for now, the Meteors are not even on the current Eurofighters. They have not yet been introduced, not integrated into the onboard weapon systems of these aircraft. Testing is still ongoing.
And Europe has serious problems, not only with aviation. German journalists have obtained a report from the Bundeswehr. And here are its conclusions. The Ukrainian war has shown that the Iris-T demonstrates high effectiveness, but there is a critical shortage of missiles for it. The Patriot formally remains an excellent system, but there are issues with the supply of components. The Leopard 1A5 is considered a reliable combat vehicle, but due to its weak armor, it is used for firing from covered positions. The Leopard 2A6 is complex to maintain. Serious repairs in field conditions are almost impossible. The PZH-2000 is technically sensitive, with issues related to its very complex mechanism, barrel lifespan, and software malfunctions. There are no complaints, only about the Marder IFV and the Gepard anti-aircraft system. My experts say that the weakness of Europe is very well known in Moscow. But will Putin dare to start a big war? On one hand, the military actions in Ukraine have reached a deadlock for him. Ukraine is successfully defending itself, and the topic of Ukraine no longer excites him or his sickly, militant society. It's a different matter, with wealthy, Europe. So, is a continental war possible? Experts suggest that it is, but only if Putin is convinced that neither the United States nor militarily powerful Turkey, for example, will fight for old Europe. And yet victory is not guaranteed for Putin. The reason, of course, is that he is stuck in Ukraine, and everyone has seen what he can really do and what he cannot.
The same war that is now in Ukraine, the same with these methods means, and everything else. In conditions where you lack ammunition, where there are questions about mobilization resources, where there are questions if your economy would work, instead of collapsing under you, then there are opportunities for such a war in Europe.
The main question is, what should be done? European leaders seem to have already grasped the situation, and old Europe is beginning to arm itself. However, they are not ready to immediately allocate huge sums for armaments. Experts say Europe needs 5 to 7 years to develop new weapon models, launch factories, and produce enough ammunition. And what about Ukraine? Will we have American weapons? No one dares to predict this. We only know one thing, for sure. Ukraine will resist. Ukrainians will fight with outdated weapons, both technically and morally. For example, these helicopters of Soviet production. They will fire unguided missiles that are already 40 years old. And Ukraine will also produce its own modern weaponry, artillery systems, missiles, armored vehicles, and a dozen types of drones. Right now, because we don't have 5 years to prepare. And the effectiveness of our weapons will definitely have a combat quality check, not just a range test like others. Moreover, without any announcement, Europe already considers the Ukrainian military-industrial complex a significant part of its defense potential. And, in fact, its independence from the peculiar American ally. Alexander Zahorodny, TSN Week, 1+1, Marathon, United. News.
Europe is on the brink of a major storm. Men are undergoing military training, women are learning the basics of life-saving, and weapons are at the ready. One bomb salvo from Russia, and a powerful response will ignite. Who is already prepared to confront Putin with force. Watch this in just a moment.
Shot after shot at imaginary targets on the training ground are being made by an IT specialist, an engineer, and a young mother. And this is not training on a Ukrainian range. These are civilian Germans. They are undergoing basic military training in case of a Russian attack on their country.
Integration of Ukraine with Russia.
Russia's attack on Ukraine became a motivating factor because the Russians systematically tried to undermine the world order, crossing all the red lines we have.
And this is Sweden. After a decade of demilitarization, the country is preparing elite recruits. The reason is the same, a possible Russian invasion. They are training on the strategically important island of Gotland on the Baltic Sea coast, because from there, in case of an attack, Swedish forces will be able to conduct air and sea transport. And these are not isolated cases from two countries. European Union countries are seriously preparing to defend themselves against Russia, conducting additional military exercises and increasing their military capabilities. Here are the clear figures. Italy, the Netherlands, and Poland have announced that they will significantly increase the size of their armed forces. And France has announced an increase in the production of Rafale fighters. Moreover, the country is modernizing one of its main air bases with the latest missile nuclear technologies.
No one can say what might happen in the coming months and years. And I want us to be ready. I want us to be protected.
The governments of the Baltic countries, Scandinavia, Poland, and the Netherlands are urging their citizens to be on alert. Stock up on essentials for the first 3 days. food, water, medicine, warm clothing, flashlights, and radios. Attend military training courses which are already being organized by Poland, Sweden, Finland, Lithuania, and Latvia, in addition to Germany. Moreover, bomb shelters are being set up in European cities. Finland arguably has the best experience in constructing underground shelters. One of these was shown to Volodymyr Zelensky last week by the Finnish president. There are food courts, gyms, and playgrounds here. This one alone can shelter 6,000 people. And Kyiv is ready to adopt Helsinki's experience, for which an agreement has been made.
And, we have an ambitious goal to create a national unit fully equipped with the necessary infrastructure by 2030. Our calculations show that in this scenario, we have up to Parapai's 5 years left. If the sanctions against Russia are lifted, we will have even less time to prepare for the next stage of aggression.
The Baltic countries and Poland are considering the possibility of withdrawing from the Ottawa Treaty on the prohibition of anti-personnel mines. Instead, to build an eastern shield on the border with Belarus and Russia, meaning to mine all the routes through which the aggressor's troops and equipment could enter Europe. For all 76 years of NATO's existence, Europe has relied on the unity of the alliance, which is now being shaken by the Trump administration. So now it is preparing for self-defense, disarming, increasing defense spending, and is determined to support Ukraine. After all, our country is essentially the last defensive line against Russia. From Brussels, Anna Hlishina, We Are Ukraine, United News Marathon.
That's all from me for now. I was with you, Darina Hutskalo. More intense news from the front in our next edition. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe and like. See you